going to start things off here.
Yep,
Won't be able to get that good attack, but
these are two decks that really like to go second. We've seen both players, obviously, the Roaring Moons that we've seen on stream have had some very aggressive starts, potentially accelerating upwards of 3, 4, 5 energy onto the board and taking knockouts on that opening turn going second. So could have been Isaiah winning the flip and then passing that over and trying to make the most of maybe early Cramorant or whatever it may be.
well, we're going to see a nest ball from Aaron here, eyeing down that Radiant Greninja brought to the top, but it's going to take a look, see what's prized, see what resources you have available to him.
I will have to shuffle here shortly.
Yeah, this is a deck where you could see a lot of different attackers. We see the Radiant Greninja, and so often you don't expect this Pokemon attacking this matchup, but there are water energies. There's 3 water energies that we'll have to pay attention to. And as we see Aaron grab a couple of those dark energies as well, obviously, you've got your main inclusion there, the Roaring Moon that likes to take big KOs.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it does. It chews Bubblegum and it takes KOs, and it's all out of Bubblegum.
Oh, unlucky.
Or I guess Jelly. Squawkabilly EX is going to be the next play for Aaron here. Such a great inclusion in a lot of these kind of turbo-ish style decks, just being able to discard your hand and draw 6 on the first turn of the game.
Yeah, especially when you start to fill that hand up with those dark energies, throw those away very quickly, and then you have an opportunity to accelerate those energies. As early as next turn with the Santos Vitality, you start to get aggressive pretty quick. Isaiah only has a mana fee right now, so he's just going to try to download as much info as he can after seeing that opening discard and hope that he's got as good a turn as we see Aaron having.
Discarding both of the energy off the Earthen Vessel with the Squawk and Seas, but Aaron finds another one. Discards a second Squawkabilly EX to find a couple more energies. That's going to lead to this concealed cards and an attachment for the turn, most likely.
And now we see the other inclusion there, that lightning energy. And this is going to be for the Iron Hands EX. Amp you very much. An attack that scares all Comfey owners, as we know that this is a great way to start to steal some additional prize cards.
Well, there is that lightning going to the discard. 4 concealed cards, 2 more cards for Aaron here. Drawn a lot of cards for this beginning turn, but will not have access to something like that Professor Sada's Vitality until the following turn. Looks like an Ultra Ball being eyed up. Ooh, that's 2 Sadas now in the discard.
Yeah, that's got to be some alarms going off in Isaiah's head as he sees all of these great resources being thrown away. It makes you wonder, okay, what is in your hand then? if that's a bad card, I'm afraid to see what's good.
Just a lot of energy switches, most likely.
And sure enough, that's the card that we see in the window of the hand. Galarian Moltres V is going to find an additional energy by way of the Dire Flame Wings. And we know that those energies can accelerate very quickly on this board state.
And Aaron also has that 4 Sealstone in hand, which is more likely going to be attached to that Galarian Moltres V, so you can get some use out of that Star Alchemy V-Star power. Being able to just grant your Pokemon V that powerful ability. Isaiah has started the Manaphy, which can be good against a surprise Moonlight Shuriken from Aaron, but starting things off with a very powerful sorter in that Colress's Experiment.
Yep, this is the way that you want to start all of your turns, have that Colress Experiment, build the hand up, and then from here, obviously looking for some of those switching effects, Battle VIP Pass, whatever it may be. We've seen Pat to the Peak occasionally as a pretty important card in matchups like these, just trying to shut off some of those additional abilities that grant Aaron some additional energies, and maybe you could slow down maybe that Radiant Greninja as well on the other side.
Now Aaron does have 4 counter stadiums in Pokestop, trying to just speed through the deck yet again, but wow, big item here for Isaiah, that Battle VIP Pass. It's going to allow him to find some Comfey, but more importantly, search the deck and figure out what's prized.
Yeah, and this is the first deck search for Isaiah, so certainly need to take that time to understand what you are working with here. Spiritomb could be an inclusion that you think about early in a matchup like this. This is something that I faced playing up against some of the turbo decks of NAIC. You see that Moltres on the other side. You know what? Actually, I don't like when you just get energies every turn.
Yeah, it's almost a free bench, too. You don't really need a full bench in a matchup like this. And having access to kind of just slow your opponent down with that Dire Flame Wings is always beneficial.
And from there, clearly, also, you have to think about the Comfey starting to burn through the deck, get more cards into the Lost Zone. Just that classic strategy of trying to reach at least 4 in the Lost Zone to do something impactful, but you start to worry. There hasn't been much else played from the hand, but we still are only on the first 2 cards of the game.
It does look like Isaiah has a Jet Energy in hand, so that could be useful to bring up a Comfey and to get that Manaphy out of the active spot. And is there another Battle VIP pass in hand?
I saw red coloring.
I saw red. It's either that or what?
Don't
Ultra
tempt
Ball.
me. I don't know.
Oh, yep, there's the second one here, and this hand is looking pretty good here for Isaiah.
Yeah, obviously, there's some decisions that you need to make here where you look at the Comfeys and the Giratina V. You want to establish that Giratina V, so obviously you can evolve it into the VSTAR, start to apply some pressure to these higher hit point Pokemon, and maybe remove them by way of Lost Impact. But there's also a bit of a game here where you have to start to consider, do you want to get that Spiritomb established, start to shut down your opponent, or do you want to work in a Cramorant and try to damage these Pokemon, maybe avoid some of that frenzied gouging, which could be an issue later on.
And there we see that Spiritomb with its Fettered in Misfortune ability. This will shut off that Galarian Moltres V for as long as it's in play. Now, it's really the only target that you're going to be shutting off, but it's going to put in a lot of work here in this matchup, hopefully, for Isaiah. Does find that second Comfey as well, so I think we're going to see a Jet Energy and a couple Flower Selectings to try to build up that Lost Zone in preparation for a turn 2 Mirage Gate.
I mean, if you're going to play 3 cards, I think the answer is Battle VIP, Colress Experiment. Not the ideal starter in the active, but that's what they invented switches and Jet Energies for.
That's why they did it?
And because they're fun.
Oh, yeah. Flower Selecting gets rid of the water. Don't need that with the Radiant Greninja in the Lost Zone. And then we're going to see retreat to the second Comfey here.
The blatant disrespect towards Rain Splash, you know?
I know.
How dare you, Jeremy? 4 cards in the Lost Zone now after this Flower Selecting. I believe there was a switch in the hand. We've already seen the energy attachment, so no Abyss Seeking into big knockouts on the other side. And the question now is there a way to find a Cramorant? It does not look like that's going to be the case. Pass of the turn.
Still not bad, though. 4 in the Lost Zone, but only 1 Giratina V on the bench. So if Aaron does find the 1 copy of Boss's Orders in his deck, could be able to maybe pull off a big attack, but needs a lot of energy to do that. So we're going to start with Asada here. That's the third one. Only attaching 1 energy, though.
We see only that 1 ancient Pokemon in play. Pokestop is found. So we could see Aaron continue to burn through the deck. We've seen resources flying left and right on his side of the board, but rightfully so. This is just how you have to play this deck to start to find some helpful cards. Ultra Ball, maybe that will start to open this up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra Ball, you can discard that Battle VIP pass you also found with it, so really it's almost free, you know?
I mean, we lost Iron
Oh,
Hands.
double Battle VIP pass. Who cares about losing Iron Hands when we got Thornton in the deck?
In the
in the
prize
prizes.
cards, yeah. Well, I think that's a card that Aaron certainly looks for in the opening deck search. But there are some other inclusions. We see that Mew potentially being eyed up, and I think Isaiah thinks about that rightfully so. As you know what, I don't want to be tempted with this Radiant Greninja, and I don't want my opponent to pull this active and genome hack it at all.
Yeah, Mew EX is one of those cards where ever since it came out, people were like, oh, Giratina's done for. Lost Impact with genome hacking. Can't beat that, right?
Right.
All right.
And this certainly is a matchup where you can be intimidated by this. You can be surprised by the Mew by way of Thornton. You can start to attach additional energies to it now where it's not currently a threat. But anytime that you see that Giratina V-Star, you know that the Mew could easily knock it out the very next turn.
Yeah, usually we only see Intimidation in the VGC.
Boo. Who has it? Like the Gyarados or the
Incineroar.
There you go, yeah.
Hisuian Arcanine. There's the energy switch to get that dark energy off that Galarian Moltres V. Still one energy away from being able to attack this turn, but there is that Pal Pad, putting back that one Boss's Orders that was in the discard already, along with Asada's.
It's nice to know where those resources are, and thankfully playing some helpful item cards like that in an engine that throws away resources left and right, those Pokestops. It makes you think about the Kyogre builds of old, just burning all these resources and trying to get to this specific endgame strategy. This one, it builds along the way.
Well, Aaron's still trying to build a little bit further. Restart a couple cards off the top. No energy here. Supporter already used for the turn. We're going to have to force Seal Stone to just even attack, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, what was a great hand to start, and we saw all of the building that with additional resources, the Pokestop and everything. It's definitely slowed down a bit.
Now, you can't get 2 energy.
Yeah,
off of
that's what, Earthen Vessel coming?
Yeah.
That's what I was like pointing. I was
It's
like,
like
yeah, I knew it was gonna
that's
get
a shortcut.
A little too short.
All right, thank you.
All right, Earthen Vessel found off that Star Alchemy. Discards Ultra Ball to get 2 Dark Energy. This will open up concealed cards as well as that attack for the turn. And important to note, Aaron's going to take a knockout on this Manaphy, which will open up a Moonlight Shuriken play for maybe the future, but we'll have to see. And ooh, Boss's Orders found off the top.
I like this from Aaron,
Already
fanning out
played.
those different basic energies to keep track and identify that maybe you can pull those out at the right time and maybe work in one of those interesting attackers that we know of.
Really debating hard here, but we do see that 3rd energy on Roaring Moon. But just a retreat to Radiant Greninja here. And
This is
Aaron's going to take it
very,
slow.
Very passive, but you can understand where this play is coming from. If this Pokemon were to be knocked out, if you lose the Roaring Moon in this spot, it does not look like you're going to have another attacker ready to roll. And that is the power of the Spiritomb, shutting off the energy acceleration by way of the discard to the Galarian Moltres, which usually starts to share those energies with the energy switches.
Well, Isaiah has, again, another Colossus experiment to start things off. It's going to mean 6 in the Lost Zone and a couple more resources to the hand. Does get rid of a Roxanne, though.
My
but
favorite flex.
there is 2 in the list.
Yep. You could throw one away, say there is no late game, and that Jet Energy means that 7 cards will be in the Lost Zone. Question is now, which Pokemon do you want to incorporate into the mix? You have that open bench slot, so maybe a Pokemon like Cramorant could get some chip damage onto the Radiant Greninja. But a card like Escape Rope would be very nice in a spot like this. I feel like that was one of those cuts that he continued to make, and sure enough, it is.
Yeah, just 3 switch in the deck.
3 switch, 2 switch card.
And now the Cramorant play could be pretty good here if you had access to that Sableye, but it's in the prize cards towards the top, too. So having that 110 damage just stay on that Radiant Greninja might be a little troublesome.
Brain Splash.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
Lining it up. You can fade out twice. You got to see all the lines. That's the beauty of Giratina.
Spinning attack.
There you go. It's going to be the double Giratina V setup. Seems like a pretty solid strategy at this point in time. Now it is the battle of the boss's orders, it would look like. If you could see 3 Giratina V-Stars up against whatever V or EX Pokemon is on the other side.
Well, there is a retreat to another Comfey Flower selecting yet again. Plenty in the Lost Zone for Isaiah here. Does get rid of a Super Rod, finds that 2nd Roxanne, so had to keep that card. Is there access to any switch or
Ooh.
Mirage Gates? Ooh.
Wow. That's risky.
Well, we found a Mirage Gate. Did lose 2 energy, and with 3 in hand, Isaiah has to be running pretty low. We do see that V-Star being evolved Path to the peak, not bad here. Just a pass. Both of these players taking this matchup very slow, trying to force the other to make the first move.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intimidating process. You understand that the counter action is right there waiting for you. Instant knockouts on both sides of the board, and you're trying to map out those prize cards. The one benefit that Isaiah currently has going into this is he can just continue to build his hand. And if you hold on to cards like Boss's Orders, you can take those risks like the Pokestop, throw away, maybe find some of those item cards which will help you close out and take those big KOs. You're not really worried about any shuffling on the other side from Aaron.
I think there is a Pokegear in hand to go along with that Pokestop. And Aaron's going to be trying to find another Professor Sada's Vitality, maybe. Maybe even just use the Boss's Orders in hand. But needs a way to get out of the active spot.
Ripping it.
Ripping it. Needs a little bit of help here. Energy switch.
Ooh, loses that Sada, though.
I mean, the combination here is retreat along with Boss's Orders, but it's not all there. There's not even an energy switch up and then have a good attacker.
Can we thin the hand down enough to maybe restart for a couple cards?
I think that is the line that Aaron has to consider here. I believe there's Ultra Ball in the hand along with a VIP pass as some fodder.
With that, do you commit to the Boss's Orders?
That's the real question here. You have to understand your energy counts in this position. Energy switch is going to be thrown away. You can fail the Pokegear if you choose.
Yeah, and there's 4 energy in the discard, 3 in play, just 4 left in the deck. Granted, you do have some Earthen Vessel you can kind of draw into.
You can play into the switch card or escape rope. So we'll see if these cards even matter to Aaron. Says, oh, cool, my switch card is in the deck. That's all I care about. Let's shuffle up. I've got a few opportunities. The real question now, do you Boss's Orders first? Because there is the interesting escape rope draw, which would hurt so bad here.
Well, there's a Boss's Orders on the Giratina V, trying to avoid the VSTAR knockout for now, and a big 3 cards off this Mew EX's restart.
Energy would do it. Switch cart would be great. Escape rope would hurt.
Earthen Vessel, that's going to do it for Aaron to be able to accomplish a big knockout this turn. Does have to discard a Dark Patch, though. But the other card in hand, another Dark Patch.
Okay. And looks like the last 2 energies in the deck being found. Look how thin the deck is at this point. Aaron has not taken a prize card. He has burned through all these cards in upwards of 3 turns.
Maybe we see a Kyogre from Aaron.
Hold up.
Someone's cooking.
Yeah.
Dark Patch on that Roaring Moon EX. That had no energies. Do we see the... Yeah, we can't even see the concealed cards because you don't want to discard the energy. There is the retreat. And we're going to see a Calamity Storm taking a big knockout, discarding that Pokestop. And Aaron's going to be able to find another energy from the prize cards. But other than that, not really working with much in hand.
Yeah, drawing first blood there, taking that big knockout. Obviously, Isaiah will have the answer with that Giratina V-Star, but it's very important that he's able to also bench another Giratina V this turn, hold on to that Roxanne for the following turn, and start to disrupt what Aaron is going to be working with. As Aaron has one mission next turn, to accelerate as many energies as possible onto this board, and maybe set up another Roaring Moon and get some energies onto that Mew, perhaps.
Well, the Stats Ball is going to help out Isaiah finding that second Giratina V, like you were saying. We do know there's the Mirage Gate in hand already, but with quite a few energy in hand. Does look like Isaiah has enough resources, though. Oh, they're all psychic energy.
That is ugly.
Think we might settle for a Star Requiem.
Well, it goes back to looking at that Pokestop that we saw earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Lost the grass energy, but found the Mirage Gate, so win some, lose some.
So far, both of these players have been winning a lot of some.
At least 10.
At least 10. Both these players have a loss to give as well, at least with our calculations. 36 match points should be the safe spot for top 8. both of these players sitting at 33.
Yeah, you can tell every resource is just so important from this point. Trying to map out what is the potential that Aaron can set up really relevant Pokemon on this following turn. Get those energies down onto the Mew or the Roaring Moon on the other side. And losing the Path to the Peak here is pretty bad too.
Looks like it was another Mirage Gate, though, was the card found. Grabs just another Psychic Energy.
Yeah, you want to have a Path to the Peak when you use the Roxanne. It would also be nice to just play an additional one this turn so that you could shut down maybe some additional cards found from Restart or the Radiant Greninja draw, whatever it may be. You just try to shut off all these abilities.
We do see the switch. Giratina VSTAR now in the active spot. Grass Energy for the turn for Isaiah. And now he has the knockout with Lost Impact, but there wasn't 10 in the Lost Zone, so unable to get that Star Requiem kind of saved those energies. And 2 Psychic Energies going to Lost Zone.
Yeah, you have to worry about what Isaiah will be able to accomplish on the following turn. We already see a Giratina V-Star in the Lost Zone, the 2 Psychic Energy there. Finding the Mirage Gates was so difficult the first time, and if you do, it's just the last Psychic Energy. I mean, there's chances you draw into it, then you have to awkwardly use the Roxanne first. We'll see how this works, but first Aaron needs to find an attacker this turn.
Yeah, the hand wasn't too good following the knockout. Does have that concealed cards for 2, and wow,
Ooh.
Professor Sada's Vitality found yet again here. Just attaches the 1, though, still missing the second Roaring Moon.
And it's so cute. You find the lightning energy and throw that on just in case you can work in some Thornton shenanigans to close out. Thinking of everything here.
Energy from the hand for turn. That means Aaron has this knockout yet again, but this time with Frenzied Gouging.
Frenzy gouging for knockout.
This is going to deal 200 damage to
But
himself.
look! After this, you have nothing, no energies in play. All of your resources, look at the discard pile. That's 10 energies of the 11 that will be there after this knockout. And it could be as simple as a Cramorant in this spot. And you know that Roxanne is waiting on the other side, most likely too.
And Isaiah still has not played Cramorant this game yet. Has access to Nest Ball in hand. That could be a great way to fetch it out. Did draw the Psychic for the
Yeah,
turn.
I was like,
Yeah.
I've seen the 2 Psychic Energy in hand. I'm like, he's not very lucky, is he? I guess the one benefit of that is that when you use the Roxanne, just throw it all back in. Who cares? And you can draw into the Mirage Gate for later.
Yeah, still 2 Mirage Gate in the deck as we took a quick look through there. And as long as Isaiah has a switch out, this is going to be a pretty easy KO here, going down to 2 prize cards. If there's a Path to the Peak left, this could be a pretty crazy turn for Isaiah.
Yeah, this is exactly what Isaiah's been working towards this whole game. You understand that this position will come about. The issue is Aaron wasn't able to set up another attacker. And that makes Isaiah feel so much more comfortable in a situation like this. You can switch into that Cramorant. You have that Roxanne ready to roll. And you know what? We're done here. Let's move on to game 2.
Just no way to set up an additional attacker for Aaron there. Already used the boss's orders, the Pal Pad. No real way to work around that Cramorant, and Giratina is just looming in the back with that Star Requiem.
Yeah, it's so wild how these matchups can turn on their head just based off those opening draws. And it looked like Aaron had the potential. The aggression that we saw, throwing cards left and right, typically that leads to a lot of energy acceleration. But this was the only period where we really saw multiple Roaring Moon on the table at the same time. And this led to no additional acceleration from the Sadas. It was always 1 dark energy at a time or whatever it may be. And slowly but surely, that starts to weigh on you. And it led to situations where Aaron finally gets this big attack off, yes, but he has no energy to follow up, which means that you just have to scoop things up and try to get it done in the next one.
Yeah, Spiritomb putting in a ton of work in that game 1, shutting off that Dire Flame Wings from Galarian Moltres V, really just canceling out an attacker for that entire game.
And certainly there is a lot of potential on the other side for this to go differently. Aaron has the potential to have the big pop-off turn, throw down plenty of energies, maybe work in the Iron Hands at an early stage of the game, and the pressure could be all on Isaiah to find the right answers. But when you have double Battle VIP Pass, Colress Experiment, all the Giratina lined up ready to go, it looks pretty fun to be a Giratina player.
Double Pokestop in the prize cards for Aaron. That could be detrimental if a Path to the Peak sticks in play for Isaiah. Meanwhile, Jet Energy, Colress Experiment, Mirage Gate, nothing too bad for Isaiah in those prize cards. And Aaron choosing to go first here in this match, but starts that Battle VIP Pass, able to find a couple Pokemon.
Yeah, that's a little surprising, but maybe this leads to faster Iron Hands. Maybe the consistency of just being able to play out more cards works. That's
3 Battle VIP Pass.
Yeah. Who are you taking to the concert?
Taking a couple friends at least.
Maybe your boys. Say ballin'?
yeah, we're available.
The squad being established.
Well, we were talking about missing extra Roaring Moon for those Sadas. I don't think that's going to be a problem here. And fetches the Iron Hands. We're going to see the last Battle VIP Pass here, most likely. Or just a Nest Ball.
To fail.
Now, do you grab the Mew for restart or just another Roaring Moon? I think it's a Roaring Moon here.
Yeah, I'm a little more interested in the Roaring Moon. I feel like we've seen that be more of an issue than trying to draw 1 or 2 cards.
Well, it looks like Aaron's trying to debate between those 2 Pokemon here.
Yeah, I almost start to question the Galarian Moltres pull. Obviously, yes, it forces your opponent to find the Spiritomb, but it's basically a useless card after that is established. But maybe that's the difference between Isaiah finding 2 Giratina, and that could be a boss's orders big KO later on.
Yeah, we saw that actually in game 1. There was one specific turn where if Aaron had that boss's orders, he could get a KO. Just unfortunately, he had to dig through a lot of the deck turn 1 here. Does start with the concealed cards before the Squawk and Seize. Definitely interesting on how the proper sequencing for this deck is. A lot of different options.
Yep. See water energy in hand, also the energy switch that can be played first. If you don't want to play the water per turn, you could use the Ultra Ball and then thin out, throw away a useless Pokemon or something you're not looking forward to, and then use Squawk and Seize. But we're always seeing that Sada thrown away. Poor Sada.
Yeah, I always run into, when I was playing Miraidon, just Path to the Peak in hand and Squawk ability. And I have to Squawk and Seize this Path to the Peak away, but I'm playing against a deck that Path to the Peak is very good against.
Yeah,
and
well, you have to sequence it appropriately. Throw the Path to the Peak in the air, Squawk and Seize, and then it lands on the table.
You're right.
To shut off the abilities.
And that's why you're better than me, Kyle.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Isaiah starting things off with a Colress Experiment yet again. It must be nice. I guess this is how you end up 10-0-3.
Yeah, sign me up. Undefeated currently at this spot, up a game against one of the scariest players currently in the tournament in Aaron Santos and this very interesting Roaring Moon deck. And take a look at the discard pile and see all of these resources that found Pokemon, but no energies in the discard pile.
An awkward 5 cards for Isaiah here. Switch, Energy, Cramorant, and I believe a Mirage Gate?
I don't feel bad for him. He's absolutely cooking on the other side. We see the Battle VIP Pass once more in hand. Looks like the Radiant Greninja's there too. Last time chose to throw that Pokemon into the Lost Zone. Maybe there are considerations this time to continue to accelerate and draw more.
And you may be wondering why Isaiah isn't slamming down that Battle VIP Pass right away, but that's because with a deck like this, you want to try to find as many basic Pokemon as possible in the beginning stages. So if you thin out some of the basic Pokemon, you're just worsening your odds.
Yep. Any time that you draw into another Comfey, maybe even that Spiritomb, whatever it may be, that's just one less card that you have to find off the Battle VIP Pass. You can add those additional Pokemon to your bench, and then you can build that perfect 5 that you're looking for. Aaron was able to do so with their board pretty easily, but I guess that's just how things work when you have triple VIP.
Isaiah's first deck search here is going to take a quick look, see what's prized, what resources you have available. That Sableye is in the deck now. Spiritomb is also there. And Isaiah does have access to a Jet Energy in hand.
Okay, I was going to say, there's one very important Pokemon we haven't seen just yet.
The Manaphy.
We need Manaphy this time around. Look at Aaron's board. You see that Radiant Greninja juiced up. And that would be very bad to lose that Pokemon, especially when you want to consider playing down a Spiritomb in a spot like this. There's just a lot of low hit point Pokemon that could be easily knocked out and turn the tide of this game.
Giratina V is one of the cards here, but do we see that very important Manaphy? If we see Manaphy, that means no second Comfey, which means no Spit Innocently.
Do you Jet Abyss Seeking?
That's so rough. I guess that leaves just one knockout in play for Moonlight Shuriken. And double Giratina V, maybe we are going to see it.
I like this a lot. This is a strategy where you see your opponent go for the Moonlight Shuriken. It's like, okay, cool. I will give you no additional 90 hit point or less Pokemon to attack into. You can leave some useless damage on the board. And this tends to work out pretty well. And yes, a lot of Giratina players are made fun of for Abyss Seeking over and over again until they eventually lose. But sometimes it is optimal.
Well, there is that Jet Energy Giratina V brought to the active spot. Isaiah has played a few cards this turn, but just opts for that Abyss Seeking. Going to go up to 5 in the Lost Zone.
Build your own Colress.
That means a pretty likely 7 in the Lost Zone next turn with just another Colress experiment.
Giratina VSTAR. 1 in the hand, 1 in the Abyss Seeking. That means it's going to be tossed away, and that is 3 switching effects in the Lost Zone on the opening turn. Ruh-roh.
Oh, that's just the pass of the turn for Aaron here.
Well.
That is
dude, energies are so important. Last time he had 9 in the discard pile in turn 3 to 4. And here he has 0, which leads to the clunkiness we've talked about throughout this tournament. You need to draw all these cards in the right order. It's just not happening. And there's switching effect number 4 right now for Isaiah.
And there goes
another
Jet Energy into the Lost Zone. There's another Comfey in hand, along with that Cramorant. Do you just play the Cramorant at this point and just start attacking?
You just rip the Colress and
that would work
start
too.
going to town. Ooh.
A lot of energies in
that
those 7
been
cards.
A great Mirage Gate.
Well, I don't know if Mirage Gate would be as good if you had to look at the top 7 and take energies from there.
Yeah, maybe that's how we balance it.
Maybe. So no Colress's experiment just yet for Isaiah. Might have to do a little more digging. Maybe get another Comfey in play just so you can flower selecting. But again, that means 2 Pokemon that could be easily knocked out. And there's the last switch from Isaiah. No more getting out of the active spot unless it's a Jet Energy.
And I think that was Cramor. No, Cramorant's already in the hand.
Yeah, Cramorant's in hand. Manaphy?
Manaphy? Yeah. Blue guy?
I mean, there's 3 blue Pokemon in the list, and one's in play, one's in hand. Yeah, there we go. Manaphy. Pretty big pickup if Aaron's able to find something like an Earthen Vessel next turn.
Yeah, that is the one card that Aaron is truly missing at this point. It would activate everything from here on out.
Well, here we see that Mirage Gate. Going to be able to charge up this Giratina V, but Isaiah still needs a way to retreat. I think we might see a second Mirage Gate just so you can retreat the Comfey. Grass Energy on Giratina V, or not. Psychic Energy and a Water on the active.
Yep. Likely meaning Grass Energy in hand for the attachment for the turn. Thinking of every energy, as obviously this was an issue in game number 1 with all the Psychic Energies remaining.
We do see the second Mirage Gate. Couple energy on the bench. Giratina V, spread out the extra resources you have available to you. Hopefully you get a couple attacks off if Aaron does have something. I mean, there's a possibility Aaron just brings up Greninja and retreats just to get an energy in the discard so you can Sada.
Yeah, and those are all things that Isaiah is considering, and I think you still feel comfortable in a spot like this. It's pretty likely that your Giratina will stick around at this point, but even if it doesn't, you have the secondary one to follow.
This is a strong board presence from Isaiah here. 2 Giratina V-Stars essentially powered up. Gonna have
Manaphy
to-
along with it.
Yeah. 2 energy to the Lost Zone, but that's going to power up Lost Impact for the following turn, just needing 1 more by way of Chorus or Flower Selecting.
Yeah, this is a very crucial turn for Aaron. If the pieces align, obviously the retreat opens up some of the draws. But if you can take the knockout this turn, there's a window. Isaiah only has a 3/3 line of Giratina V-Star. We see the V-Star in the Lost Zone already. If you knock out this Pokemon, there's a world where you run out and there is no closing final 2 prize cards for Isaiah unless you start attacking with Cramorant, sadly, into nothing.
Aaron needs Earthen Vessel off those 3 cards, but I don't know if he found it just yet. Oh, there is an energy. 2 more cards yet again.
Maybe force Sealstone, anything at this point just to help out.
No, there's been a couple of Pokegears, which aren't very good after you already played your supporter for the turn.
We already have that piece.
Dark Patch in hand, but that Roaring Moon is in the active spot here. Nest Ball is going to be able to search the deck. Just a fail, though. We have access to Dire Flame Wings, no Spiritomb in play, Dark Patch. But again, the complete opposite of Game 1, where Aaron was just flooded with energies in the first few turns. This is definitely not that game.
Yep.
I think we're just going to see a pass.
It's so unfortunate. Yeah, you pass with this Pokemon in the active. Now there is the benefit that you know your opponent is struggling with the switching effects. You've already seen all 5 switch cards played. But we see Mirage Gate was the draw.
Must be nice. Must be nice. There is still quite a few resources available to Isaiah, especially with this Super Rod here. I'm going to shuffle back in a Psychic and a Water Energy. And with this Mirage Gate, you can power up this Giratina V-Star yet again, take a knockout, and then just have that Star Requiem sitting and waiting.
Yep, starts to look a little like a checkmate situation. The main attacks that are going to produce those additional prize cards would be a V or EX Pokemon attacking. Be 2 prize cards remaining. You already see that the V-Star will be available in this situation. And you could even use the Jet Energy on the bench Pokemon, bring that active, and just Lost Impact, throw away the Jet and the Water, and then both these Pokemon are ready to take the final knockout. However you want to do it, this will do the exact same thing.
And there is that Lost Impact, and the writing is on the wall for Aaron here. No way to knock out both of these Giratina V-Star in this turn. And honestly, no way for Aaron to really get an attack off right now.
Yeah, we need a knockout for Pride at this point. It has not been the cleanest game, unfortunately, but that's just the way that the cards fall with this deck sometimes. When everything lines up and you get the perfect assortment, the Earthen Vessels, the Sadas, into all of the additional resources, this deck looks incredible. It can knock out any Pokemon on any given turn, but when you don't have one piece, that's all it takes to watch it crumble.
It was a few turns too late, but Aaron finally found that Earthen Vessel, being able to discard Squawkabilly EX, get a couple of energy to the hand.
Staring down 2 Tina V-Stars, bro. Let me just get a little action going. It'll be all over soon.
Looks like Aaron has come to the same conclusion here. Just gotta make something happen, right?
Yeah, show off for the stream a little bit, you know?
Okay, well, the floor is yours, Aaron.
Roaring Moon, EX to the bench. Couple of Dark Patch in hand. Dire Flame Wings available, concealed cards available. Aaron going through the motions.
Oh, multiple Dark Patch ready to roll.
For how locked up Isaiah has this game, he looks very worried for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know what he's considering at this point. But let him do his thing.
Maybe what concession snack to get.
Yeah, okay.
Dark patch number 1. Potentially 2. I think it was 2.
Speaking of the concessions, I heard the cinnamon rolls are going crazy.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
Okay.
We're going to have to check out some, you know.
All right, well, let it be known. There will be cinnamon rolls.
Pokestop for the stadium for Aaron here. For Sealstone, and he's just continuing this turn. Triple draw from the Pokestop here.
I mean, that is exactly what you'd want. 3 turns ago. All of the resources finally lining up. You have this Mew ready to move out of the active spot. Frenzied Gouging ready for a knockout. The only issue is Isaiah doesn't have to take 12 prize cards to win a game. Only 6.
That would be rough.
He's down for the challenge. Who knows?
What is it? Dialga Palkia Legend or something
Oh yeah,
like that?
we've seen some nightmare situations. The graphics would not be prepared.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if we had something like that nowadays?
That's why we're not on the design team.
For those of you at home, it was a Pokemon that just added a couple more prize cards to your opponent. You can do that attack multiple times. But 16 prize cards at one point.
Yeah, Circuitry was enough for me. I'm okay. I'm okay with this. Just 6 prize cards. That's what Aaron has on his side of the board. In a game state that is upwards. It's basically unwinnable from here. But obviously, you're playing for pride at this point. Your deck has been fantastic, winning 11 matches so far. You know what it's capable of. Got to at least get yourself a little bit of content showing some knockouts.
Hey, more time taken off means less time we have to just talk.
Cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, more time for cinnamon rolls. Earthen Vessel's gonna thin the deck yet again. Maybe he's going for the deck out.
You know, that'd also be a fun way to close out the game here, too.
Energy for the turn on that Radiant Greninja. Do we see the Moonlight Shuriken for the 0 damage, 0 damage?
Oh, this is how you close out, Aaron.
Oh,
Thinking
yeah.
of everything here.
This is the line.
Here you go. Where's he going to target?
Oh, Giratina.
Oh.
Boss's orders in hand for Isaiah. Brings up any of the 2 prize Pokemon on the bench. And just like that, Isaiah Bradner, 11-0-3, locking up top 8 here in Charlotte.
Undefeated to this